My name is Pam. I'll be teaching yoga today. Before we begin, just a quick review of things you might want to have handy while you practice. If you don't have a vacuum or meditation cushion, you might want to have a pillow or two, especially if you don't have like a bolster or anything like that. Just having a couple of pillows, whether it's a throw pillow or a bed pillow, doesn't really matter. If you don't have pillows, maybe having some blankets handy. If you have blocks, that's great. If not, you can use things like a big jug of vinegar or something like that. And if you don't have a yoga belt, you can use a little tie or a Dynaband, something like that. Just have those handy for practice. So we usually begin every practice lying back, or you can sit with me. If you're going to lie back, you're going to lie onto your back with your palms face up, knees resting together, feet comfortably away from you. If your back feels fine and it's not tired or sore, you can always lengthen your legs along the mat and just letting them be about mat width. And if you're not comfortable lying back with your eyes closed, you can always sit with me, again on a cushion or a blanket, or if you're comfortable on the floor, just on the mat. So I would invite you now to find a comfortable position, either lying back or seated. To become nice and long and tall in your spine. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes, or you can have your gaze soft. If you're wearing glasses, it might be nice to remove them and just set them aside in a safe place while you begin your practice. An invitation to release your body into the mat. And please make sure you're nice and comfortable. So fidget if you need until you find that really comfy spot, whether it's seated or lying back. We want to invite a sense of ease in our bodies, a release into the support of the ground. To just notice how we're doing in this moment. Without judgment, to just notice. Allowing the shoulders to relax back and down away from the ears. A release in the jaw, just resting the tongue in the back of the mouth. An easing and smoothing of the forehead. And releasing any tension with each breath. As you breathe, an invitation to expand your belly. Fill it with fresh oxygen. And as you breathe out, feel your belly fall back towards your spine and your body release into the support of the ground. If you're unfamiliar with belly breathing, it can sometimes take a little bit to feel that in your body. Some of us breathe in the reverse way. So if it helps, have your hands on your belly to feel your belly rise and expand like a balloon getting bigger. To feel it fall back as you breathe out. Taking your time here to rest before you begin your practice. And as we rest and breathe here on this day, an invitation to set an intention for yourself it resonates with you in terms of truth and reconciliation. Whatever that means for you today. Maybe that means getting in touch with your own ancestry. Or perhaps just studying the history of the country in which you live. And as you rest here and breathe here for a few more moments, just letting whatever that intention is resonate with you. Breathing in and filling the belly with fresh oxygen. Breathing out and bringing the belly back towards yourself. And in your time, if you're seated, let's come to join our colleagues on the floor. Just coming to your back. And from here, we'll actually just begin to slowly and gently wake up the body. So maybe wiggling the fingers and toes, beginning to stretch or move in any way that feels good. So maybe having a yawn and a stretch, whatever feels good for you. In your time, exhaling both knees towards your chest, holding underneath your knees with your hands. Now, if your back is tired or sore, you may want to work with one leg at a time. So we're just circling the leg in the hip socket, just to warm up, get that synovial fluid moving in the joints. Just breathing and moving with our breath. So as I exhale, I place the foot back down. And I want to work in both directions to make sure I'm lubricating that joint both ways. You can always work with both legs if you wish. Listen to your back. Getting those hips nice and lubricated. And then from here, exhaling your right knee to your chest. Circling into the ankle. Again, working with both if that works for you. And we can even circle into the wrists a few times as well. Work in both directions and then shake everything out. And so when we do yoga, if you're new to yoga, we always want to make sure we have socks off before we start our practice so that we don't slip on the mat. So please remove your socks. And from here, our base pose for all our work from our back starts in Shavasana or resting pose where we just were. From here, we're actually going to do a little bit of a pelvic lift. And before we do that, we're just going to warm up the shoulders a little tiny bit more. So I'm going to place my hands on my elbows, draw circles on the ceiling with my elbows in one direction, and then the other. And then it might feel really nice to just pause in the center, and on an exhalation of your belly back, allow your arms in this position to just float to one side. Breathing here. And then exhaling, pause in the center and all the way to the other side. Breathing there. And then slowly coming back to center. And it might be nice to actually just let the arms float towards the forehead. Now, if you're super flexible in the shoulders, you might be able to reach behind you. I'm cheating a little bit because I have a blanket there. But try not to hang out. So if you need to, like, widen your arms, like maybe you're just touching your palms so that your arms can come all the way back to the mat. Or perhaps you already have your blanket behind you and you can still keep touching your elbows. Just feel a little bit of a stretch there, just releasing. And then exhale, slowly come back. All right, from here, we're gonna step a little bit closer to our buttocks as long as that's okay for our knees. We're gonna place our palms beside us on our mat and make sure we've rolled our shoulder blades down our back. Now from here, you don't want to turn your head when you do pelvic lifts. So if you need to, take a look first. We're going to exhale our belly back and float up. So I'm long and tall in my spine. Everything is in line here. And all I did was lift my pelvis straight up. Okay? So I'm still working here. My legs are active. I'm still breathing. I can feel the tops of the shoulder blades on the mat, the soles of the feet, and those strength in those quads. The strength as I bring my belly back towards my spine, breathing here. And then when we come down, we're going to roll down slowly, one vertebrae at a time. So get those legs waking up. Those legs are working. The belly is working all the way down until we uncurl our tail. And then we can let that go. We can shake that out. And let's try that one more time after we release the spine. So we're going to exhale both knees towards our chest and just have a gentle rock from side to side, head, neck, shoulders. Everything comes with you. And then it might also be nice to just stretch out the low back a little bit while we're here. So holding underneath the right knee or on top of the shin, but not on the knee. Exhale your left leg along the mat. And that leg as if it were standing up. Okay, so my foot is flexed, my knee is not locked, my leg is active. And again, I might check in with my shoulders as I continue to breathe. My shoulder blades roll down my back. And I can move with my breath here a little bit. So as I inhale, my belly gets bigger. So maybe my leg can come a little bit away. And as I exhale, my belly gets smaller and falls towards my spine. Maybe my leg comes a little bit closer. So I inhale and expand my belly. Exhale, bring my belly back, leg comes towards me a little bit. And then on the last one, actually invite your knee out towards the side a bit, as if you were coming beside your torso and bringing your knee into your armpit. And then inhale and exhale back to center. And we'll actually cross a little bit over the other side. And if it feels comfortable, you can start to bring yourself into a little bit of a twist, but keep that right shoulder on the mat and keep the left hip on the mat. Maybe your right butt comes up a little bit, but the shoulder blades are down on the mat. And then I exhale, come back to center, squeeze that leg in one more time on my exhalation, and then we'll switch. So both knees in towards the chest, nice hug. Exhale, lengthen your right leg along the mat. That leg is standing up. And then we begin to breathe and move with this left leg. So I breathe in, my belly gets bigger, my leg moves away, my belly gets smaller as I exhale, and I bring my leg closer to me. So work with your own breath. Breathing in, expanding, leg comes away. Breathing out, releasing, leg comes towards you. Just a couple more here. We can use both hands. And then on your next one, exhale and bring that leg a little bit to the left of the torso, as if that leg was coming into your armpit. Breathing there. Still the shoulder blades roll down the back. Coming back to center for a squeeze. And then all the way over to the other side, coming into maybe a partial twist. Breathing here, shoulder blades are on the mat, the left buttock picks up. Feeling a nice stretch in the glute, deep in the glutes. Breathing there. And then exhaling to come back, having another squeeze on your exhale. And then both knees squeeze in to breathe out again. And rocking and rolling one more time. And then from there, we will come back into pelvic lift. Just notice if it feels any different this time. So again, if it's okay for your knees, stepping your feet a little bit closer to your butt. Palms come down to the mat. Roll the shoulder blades down the mat. And back. Exhale your belly back and float up. Remember not to turn your head when you're in this position. So if you need to take a look at pelvic lift, do so before you come into the pose. So shoulder blades are on the mat, maybe even the top of the shoulders feeling the mat. Feet are down, belly is strong, nice and long and tall on your spine. And then when you come down, do so slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Let those legs do some work. Let that belly do some work. Again, shake it all out. Exhale your knees to your chest. Rock. From here, we're going to prep our hips a little bit for some happy baby work. So we're going to come to Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined reclined cobbler pose, down angle. So we're placing feet together, exhaling, let the knees drop away. And now we're in Supta. If you wish, you can always prop under the legs. This is a nice restorative pose if you prop the body. For ladies, if it's time for menses, it can be nice to just restore in this pose, especially if you prop with pillows or blankets under the thighs and really maybe even under the arms. It's just a really nice restorative pose. For here, though, it's a nice stretch for the thighs. And we can actually even work with the shoulders at the same time. So exhale, and before I explain the arms, you can come out with the legs anytime you need. So you don't have to stay here. Listen to your body. There's no pain in yoga. Okay, so if there's pain, if something hurts, stop, come out, and then we can give you an alternative. So from here, I'm going to place my shoulders, my arms right in my shoulder socket, and I'm going to give myself a hug with one arm on top. And if your shoulders are tight, you might want to just stay here. If you're comfortable, you can come to eagle arms on your back here. So what you're doing is basically letting your elbows sit inside each other and your palms come towards one another, towards your forehead. And just breathing here for a moment. You don't need to stay too long. Whenever it's enough for the arms, or even if the hug is enough, just stay with the hug. Remember which arm is on top. Again, taking a break with the legs whenever you need. Inhale to open up the arms. Exhale to hug yourself the other way. And you may find that one side is tighter than the other. So you may just stay here on one side. Or you may let your elbows sit inside each other and bring your palms facing your forehead towards your forehead. Breathing here. Maybe feeling like a little bit of a pretzel. And then slowly coming back to give yourself a hug, and then releasing the arms. Eventually release the legs if you want. You can help them up with your hands. Shaking that all out, letting that all go. Maybe just kicking your legs and shaking your arms, whatever feels good. So we'll come to half happy baby on one side. So if you can't comfortably reach your foot, you can always grab a blanket, blanket. This is like, you can always grab a tie, bind a band, or a belt. Instead, to make your arms longer, okay? So when we come to half happy baby, we're basically bringing our knee towards the outside of our torso. So again, maybe you can comfortably reach with your hand, and that's okay. But if that doesn't feel comfortable, by all means, use the belt, okay? And that can still help you. All right. So try half happy baby on one side, breathing here, shoulder blades roll down your back, knee is coming to the outside of the torso, almost towards your armpit. Eventually, let that go, release. Use your belt if you need on the other side. Again, to bring that leg to the outside of the torso. And having the opposite knee bent will give you a little bit more space to move. Breathing there again. Maybe you're using the belt, maybe you're using your hand, whatever feels good for you. And then eventually let that go and shake that out. From here, we're going to roll to our right side for a breath or two. And then use your arms to bring you to a seated position. Try to have water handy so you can take a sip whenever you need. So we're going to come to our base pose for all of our work on all fours, which is table pose. I have a double mat, so I don't typically need a blanket under my knees, but you may wish to have one. You want to make sure your knees feel really supported. When I say no pain in yoga, it's especially important for the joints and things like the back, right? We don't want to have any pain in our joints like our knees or wrists, our ankles or shoulders. So when we come to table pose, we stretch out the fingers, roll the shoulder blades down the back, legs are right in line with our hip. And we can do things like wag our tail in this pose and wag our body, just to release any tension in the spine. And we can even add some spinal waves as we rock and release. And then eventually come to table pose. The table pose is basically on all fours, and your back is nice and flat, so I could come put a tray of drinks on you if I wanted to. All right. So from here, we can actually come to cat-cow. So if you're really familiar with yoga, you want to come to your own cat-cow in your own time, please do. And just work with your own breath. You're going to start with an exhale of your belly back. The movement always starts in the hips. So the tail looks down, the back comes up, the head comes down. As I inhale, the tail looks up, the back comes down, the head comes up. So work with that a couple of times in your own time with your own breath. Breathing into your cow or head up cat. Breathing out and expelling all the air from your belly, squeezing your abs as you come into cat. Head down, remain your cat. Again, inhale to come up. Exhale to come down. And then off to your last cat-cow or sperm wave. Coming back to neutral, and we'll actually come to lateral cat. So lateral cat basically is getting the body to move laterally. I'm going to look at my bum's going to look at me. So I'm going to start the movement in my hips. I look at my bum and I hope I can't see it. Inhale, center, exhale again. I look at my bum the other way and it looks at me. And I inhale to come to center. You can also pretend you're wrapping your body around a pole to help you get the feeling that we're looking for. So inhale, center, exhale, side. One more time. And then on the other side. And then we'll come to center. From here, we're going to come to child's pose. So I'm going to widen my knees, bring my toes together, and I'm going to start to sink back on my heels. Now, my body doesn't come all the way to my heels, but if you can, please sit on your heels. If your body doesn't come all the way to the mat, stack your hands or your fists or put a prop like a block or something else underneath your forehead. Or if you can reach the mat, that's okay too. And have 3 nice long deep breaths here. Perhaps going back to that intention that you set at the beginning of class. As you breathe in, and as you breathe out. And in child's pose, our body's going in 2 directions, our tail in one, our head in the other. From here, if it's comfortable, you can walk your arms to one side. Slowly come back to center and walk to the other side. Last time back in center. And then we'll come back up. From here, we're going to come into downward dog. So we're going to spread our fingers, roll our shoulder blades down our back, curl our toes. And just like when we come into pelvic lift from our back, we use our belly to bring us up. So I'm rolling my shoulder blades down my back. I exhale my belly back to float up into downward dog. And you're inviting your heels towards the mat. And because this is probably your first dog of the day, let it be loosey-goosey and move around and shake your head and move your legs and arms and whatever feels good. If you want to bike pedal your feet, you can do that too. If your heels reach, great. If not, keep them up. Keep the knees bent. Let your head go. Shoulders are released. And just breathing in downward dog. Eventually, slowly come back down. Take a breath in child's pose. And come on back up. When you're ready, we'll come back into downward dog one more time. Roll your shoulder blades down your back. Exhale your belly back, float up. And this time, we'll walk our feet to our hands or our hands to our feet to come into forward bend. Now, if you can't have a flat back comfortably, have your blocks to bring you to forward bend instead. You can always also have a chair or a piece of furniture or the floor. You're going to bend your knees, engage your belly, float all the way up. So extend it to Tadasana and then to Namaste. Let that go. All right. Maybe just move around a little bit, shake the body, rotate anything that feels like it needs a little bit more lubrication. Come to our base pose for standing work, which is Tadasana, or mountain pose. So I would stare at my feet when I do this. And I guess I can try and stare at them in the camera instead. So you're going to spread your toes. I was automatically spread my fingers when I do that, which I guess is a nice exercise to do. And really find the center point of your feet. So sometimes it's nice to just kind of rock back and forth a little bit, heel toes, to really find that center point of your feet, and even sometimes coming side to side, just to find that center point. Okay? My knees are in line with my ankles and my hips and my shoulders in Tadasana or mountain pose. And so I'm standing up. That's mountain pose. But I'm standing up so much, so strongly, that if you came and gave me a little push, I wouldn't really go anywhere, because I'm strong like a mountain. So close your eyes here for a moment if you're comfortable. Or let your gaze be soft. And just come back into your breath for a moment. Feeling the belly expand into the center of the room as you breathe in. Feel it fall back towards your spine as you breathe out. Inhaling to expand, exhaling to release. Long and tall spine. You might feel that you grow a little taller with each exhalation. You might not. In your time, gently open your eyes, gently move away. From here, we're going to try some balancing. If you have a wall or a piece of furniture, you can always have that handy, okay? So you don't want to lean onto it though, so it's really important that when you are using a prop for stability, that you're balancing on the leg that's away from that prop. Okay, so we'll come back to Tadasana or mountain pose. From here, if you want your prop, make sure you're close enough that you can just place your fingertips on it. And it helps if you stare at a spot that doesn't move. So if you look at me, if I wobble, then you might wobble too. But if you pick a spot on your floor or your something right in front of you that doesn't move, that can help you balance. So you're going to exhale your belly back and start to shift the weight into your left foot, or depending on where your prop is. Okay. From here, we're going to exhale and engage our belly and bring our knee towards our chest. And you can support that knee with your hand if you wish. From here, we're going to open up to the side. So there's your breath again. If you want, you can have your prop, or you can be an airplane with one arm. If we need to, we need an airplane with one arm, just so that you have that stability. We'll slowly bring the leg back to center. We'll lengthen it out. And we'll bring it back in. One more time out to the side. And back in. And then we'll slowly let that go. Shake that out. Get those legs to work today. All right, let's give another try on the other side. So again, pick a spot to stare at that doesn't move. Make sure the prop is beside the standing leg that's helping you balance. Okay. From here, we exhale our belly back, bring our knee towards our chest. And then holding underneath that knee, you can bring that knee out. Again, if you want to be an airplane or starfish, you bring your arm out just to help yourself balance a little bit more, or use that prop if you need. Eventually, we'll bring that leg back in. We'll release and straighten that leg. We'll bring it back, out, in. One more time, out. One more time, in. Release and let that go. Shake that out. So helping those strong muscles of the legs help support the rest of our body. All right. From here, we're going to come to the top of our mat. We're going to use those strong legs again and our balancing. So we're going to come to the weight on our left leg. We'll pick that right knee up and we'll send it straight back to the mat. Bending the front knee. So the back foot looks out a little bit, but the hips are forward. So I want to pretend I have headlights on my hip bones as I come to warrior one. Okay. So my belly is working. My legs are working. My knee may want to fall in, but I want it to stay looking forward. From here, I'm going to exhale my belly back and use my core to reach the arms up towards the ceiling and gaze at the ceiling in between my fingertips. If you find that when you lift your arms, you do this, maybe be in cactus arms instead. Okay, that's all right. So if you need to be in cactus arms, you can do that. So you want to have nice open shoulders, nice and open across the front of the chest. You come to warrior. From here, we're going to release the arms. I'm just going to switch on to show you a little bit better. We're going to let the back foot look out a little bit more. And that automatically opens the hips more to the side. From there, this front knee will definitely want to fall in. So again, really want that leg looking forward. Want that leg nice and strong. We're going to exhale our belly back and twist towards the open hips. Watch this front knee or the back knee doesn't walk. It needs to stay a little bit bent. From here, we're in our twist now. We can open up the arms into warrior two. And gaze over the front hand. There, so lots of work for the legs and the abs today. Breathing. In your time, we'll come to reverse warrior. So you'll place your back hand down. You'll turn the palm of your front hand up. You'll lift it towards the sky as you gaze at your fingertips. Watch that front knee. It needs to stay facing forward and stay in a straight line. Breathing here. Slowly come back to warrior two. We'll take a fun transition here. We're going to pinwheel the arms. So turn that back foot, pivot the back foot. From here, we're going to go straight into downward dog, or if you wish, you can come to the knees first. Find yourself in table. Roll the shoulder blades down the back, curl the toes, exhale your belly back, come into downward dog. Breathing there. In your time, you can step your right foot up between your hands or come onto all fours again. Bring the right foot up between the hands, curl the toes. And then from here, lift off with the back foot to come back into the back foot. Okay? And when you're ready, we'll do the other side. So this time, putting the weight on the right leg, lifting the left leg up, the knee comes towards the chest, just like we did earlier. And now we're going to reach back and step back with that foot instead. But again, the first pose, we're facing forward. Okay, so warrior one, we're facing forward. But the back knee is a little bit bent, and the back foot looks out just a little bit. Front knee is bent. Reach the arms up and gaze between the fingertips. Again, maybe we're in cactus arms if we automatically put our shoulders to our ears. Breathing there. Taking your time. I'm just going to switch it up on you so you can see better. And because I already did the other side. So from here, we're going to release the arms. We're going to look the back. The back foot's going to look out a little bit more. Front knee faces forward. It may want to fall in. Once you've opened that back foot up a little bit, you already notice that you have some more space. You're opening your hips a little bit more. From here, we exhale our belly back to twist a little bit more. Spiral up the spine and lift the arms into warrior two. Gazing over that front hand. Breathing here. Strong in the legs, strong in the belly. Eventually, bringing the back arm down and flipping the front palm up. Reach towards the sky. Gaze at those fingertips into exalted warrior. Breathing there. Hips stay open, shoulders roll down the back. From here, we'll slowly come back to warrior two. For fun, we'll pinwheel the arms to come down. Again, if you want, step right into downward dog, or if you wish, transition into table first. So come onto all fours. Shoulder blades roll down the back, curl the toes, exhale the belly back, float up. Releasing your shoulders down your back, keeping the knees as bent as you need, hugging the belly and letting the head go. Breathing here. Again, to come back up, if you wish, step your left foot right up between your hands, or if you want to transition from table, coming down to all fours from dog, stepping the left foot up between the hands, curling the back toes, stepping up, right foot joins the left. This time we fold into forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, you can always use your props. Exhale to fold. Again, if you need your props, folding onto the props instead. 4 to 4. Remember the body. When you're ready, bend your knees, engage your belly, inhale all the way up. Stand into Tadasana. Reaching the arms towards the sky. Open shoulders, gazing upwards. And then exhale, bring your hands into Namaste or prayer position at the center of the chest. Remember, let that go and shake that out. Again, if you need any water, please have a sip whenever needed. Have your blocks handy if you need them, your belt, your blanket. We're going to come back down onto the mat. And we're going to do a little bit of work for our abs. Again, if you need to pad the knees, please do so with a blanket or an extra mat or a cushion. So we're coming back onto all fours, rolling the shoulder blades down the back. And this time we're going to exhale and lengthen the right leg towards the back wall and lengthen the left arm towards the back front wall. Now, if you're really feeling wobbly today, maybe you just do one limb at a time. So maybe you release the leg, then maybe you release the arm. Okay? If it works for you to use opposite arm, opposite leg, you can work one side at a time. And if it works for you, you can inhale out and then exhale to curl in. So try that if you can. Inhale out, exhale, curl in. For 3, 2, 1. If that's not working for you, by all means, lift one leg. Maybe you do the curl in with one leg at a time. Inhale out, exhale, curl. And you do 5 on the leg. And then you do 5 on the arm. But if you can work it in opposition at the same time. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. From here, we'll just rest in child's pose. So widening the knees, toes together, reaching to lay forward for 3 nice long deep breaths. Again, either stack the hands, fists, or just bring the forehead to the mat. Fill your belly up with your breath in. Squeeze all the air out with your breath out. In your time, slowly coming back up. And from here, we're going to do plank position. If you need to, drop to your knees. So plank position, my hands are under my shoulders, my knees are under my hips. Sorry, my knees are not under my hips. My knees are slightly away from my hips. You're in push-up position essentially, but you can always drop to your knees. From here, after holding for a couple of breaths, we're going to come into Chaturanga. So what does that mean? That means as I lower down, I'm going to bend my elbows towards my feet. I'm going to keep my shoulder blades rolled down my back, and I'm going to keep my tummy tight. And I'm going to lower down as slowly as I can. So slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Shoulder blades rolled down the back, elbows pointing backwards. Take a breath or two. If you were in plank position, curl the toes. Keep the shoulder blades rolled down the back. We're going to come back up the same way. You can always be on the knees. Okay, one more time. We're going to lower down all the way, slow, slow, slow. Bend the elbows towards the feet. Forehead comes to the mat. And then come back up one more time. Roll those shoulder blades down the back and slowly lift back up. Again, maybe you're on your toes if that works. From there, just bending the knees, dropping the knees, and coming into a bit of an extended puppy pose. So widen your knees, curl the toes, elbows stay up, forehead comes down, stretching out the shoulders. And then from here, we're going to do a nice shoulder stretch. We're going to thread the needle. So we're going to thread our arm way up. We're going to open up. We're going to breathe in. And then I'm going to slowly thread this arm through and come wherever it's comfortable for you. So if you need to, you can bring your forehead onto your arm or the mat. My bum is on the air, in the air, but I'm resting on the shoulder here a little bit. And if you have more mobility, you don't need to have this hand up front. Listen to your body though. Eventually, slowly come up. Let that go, and just so make sure you can see everything okay. I'm threading the arm through, so opening up with my arm under my shoulder, opening up, and then threading under. Okay, and then I'm releasing down. Opening up, threading here. Breathing there. Nice long deep breaths. Releasing the shoulders. And then eventually slowly coming back up. And then your time will come to a seated position. Again, if you wish, it might be nice to have a zafu cushion blanket under your bum. This also helps you to let your hips tip a little bit more forward and your back stay nice and long. Right. So I'm gonna throw one leg back, the other leg is gonna come in front. Then you're gonna sit up nice and tall. And from here, I'm gonna inhale my left arm up towards the ceiling. And I'm gonna exhale and I'm gonna tip to the right, and I can place my arm, my hand, or my elbow all the way down to release. Roll that right shoulder blade down the back. Open up to the ceiling, gaze at that inner elbow. Breathing here. Slowly exhale to come back up. Use your abs to get you up. And then we'll gently stretch to the other side again, gazing at that inner elbow. May not come as far on this side. And then slowly release. Let that go and switch the legs. So again, I'm bending one leg back. And then the other, I'm bending but keeping in front. Nice and tall. Inhale my right arm up to the ceiling. Again, maybe I come down onto my hand, or even all the way to my elbow to stretch up. Roll that right shoulder blade down your back. Gaze at the inner elbow. Belly's working. Breathe in here. Nice stretch in the side of the body. Exhale your belly back, float all the way back up, all the way to the other side. Gazing at that inner elbow. Again, one side might be tighter than the other. So for example, on this side, my left leg wants to pick up because it's a little bit more tight on this side. Just listen to your body, just to go, so maybe I back off a little bit to try to get that leg a little bit closer to the mat. Or I just let it pop. Breathing there. Eventually slowly release, let that go. And we'll come back to center. Sitting up nice and tall, we're coming to Dandasana or base pose for seated work. And from here, we're going to exhale, tip from our hips, lead with our sternum. And I've got a nice, long, tall spine. So I'm only going to come as far as I can come with a flat back. Okay, so if I'm rounding to reach, I'd rather come back up, open my chest, and just come a little bit. So again, if you can't see that very well, my personal cushion's out of the way, and I'm just coming back so that I keep that flat back. Right. From here, we're going to come back onto the back. If you want to have your socks nearby, if you have a bolster or cushions or blankets you want to have nearby, whatever you need for relaxation pose. So from here, I'm going to come onto the back again. But before I just lie back and try to have a nap, I'm going to exhale both knees to my chest and just have a rock. Let that go. Release any tension in the spine. And then from here, we're going to come to a figure four. Shoulder blades roll down the back. Perhaps you just stay here if you're super tight. Maybe this is as far as you need to go. If you're comfortable with it, or you want to try, exhale your belly back and allow your legs to float toward you in this position. You can hold on to the down leg if you can reach comfortably, or you can use your belt. Couple of breaths there. Eventually slowly release. Just windshield wiper the knees a couple of times from side to side. And then from there, coming to the opposite side, so the opposite ankle on the opposite thigh. Breathing there. Again, perhaps if you're really tight on this side, you just stay here. Otherwise, exhale your belly back, fold up. Don't need your hands. If you want your hands, hold on to that down leg if you can, or use your belt. We're just pausing here. Keeping the shoulder blades roll down the back. Sometimes when we lift the legs, we automatically start to round. We want to keep our chest open. Eventually exhale and release. Again, maybe windshield wiper the legs a couple of times. From here, we'll come into half happy baby again. So with your belt if you need, or if you want to give it a shot, you can try full happy baby with both feet. Knees come to the outside of your body. And you can rock here if that feels good for you. Breathing there. Just releasing, opening with your hips. Or perhaps half happy baby, working with one side at a time. Whatever feels good. Maybe even the belt. Eventually let that go. Windshield wipering the feet a couple of times. Bringing your arms into T. And then from here, you're going to exhale and let your knees eventually drop to one side. If it's okay for your neck, you can gently look to the opposite direction of the knees. Listen to your body. In your time, your head comes back, your knees slowly come back to center. Exhale all the way over to the other side, gently gazing in the opposite direction if that works for your neck. In your time, bringing the head back to the center. Legs come back. And then move or stretch it any other way that you need before you lie back. So maybe you have a rock. Maybe you really liked it when we had one knee to the chest at the time. Maybe you loved pelvic lift. Maybe you have a favorite pose that we didn't do today. Just listen to the body, see what it's asking for. And then in your time, lying back in Shavasana. So putting your socks on, grabbing your blanket, putting a chair or bolster underneath your knees, or just letting your knees rest together.
Maybe stretching out all the way. Palms face up to the ceiling. If you prefer, you can sit with me.
Gently closing your eyes. Fidgeting, stretching, moving in any other way that you need before you get really comfortable to lie back. Releasing any tension in your body with each breath. Inhaling to expand from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Filling every cell of the body with fresh oxygen. As you breathe out, releasing, resting, and letting go of anything that no longer serves you. Breathing in fresh oxygen, expanding the body. Exhale, release any tension, any holding. Giving yourself permission for this time to rest, to breathe after your hard work. Maybe sigh out your exhale. Inhale and expand and fill your belly, and then exhale to sigh out, making noise. Being with each breath and each moment. Let there be nothing else. Just this breath. Just this moment. And as you rest and breathe here for a few more moments, again, going back to that intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. What does today hold for you? What meaning does it have for you? What intention can you set for yourself so you can observe this National Day of Recognition, of remembrance, of reconciliation? What can you learn or teach or pass to others? For all those who came before us, let's take one more breath together in honor of our practice together today and the day that it is. Breathing in through your nose, inhale, expand your arms to the ceiling. Exhale, and bringing your hands to your heart center. The soul or light or divine in me is honoring the soul or light or divine in me. Namaste. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed your practice. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And I look